Vince McMahon sell the company because he was trying to finagle to be 51% of the shareholder, so he would own it, so he wouldn't have to go and sell it all. But they all forced him. So that Khan guy is basically the one that's getting rich out of all this stuff here for selling, getting rid of all these wrestlers. But they claim they can't claim it's only mid tier. But
let's get to the greatest game.
Yeah, let me key up the promo. Here we go. Wrestling 20 Questions, guys. The best game in wrestling podcasts and everything. All right. So if you didn't know about this segment, it's Wrestling 20 Questions, just like the game 20 Questions. I have to ask 20 yes or no questions. He's going to tell me yes or no on the questions. I have 20 to try to guess.
I got to start blocking some of this mirror stuff.
By the end of the 20 questions, I have to guess who the superstar is that he picked. If I don't guess it, I lose. If I guess it right, he loses.
All right, question numero uno.
So here, I'll mark it down. So unless you want to take,
no, you can do it.
Okay. So let me key this up first, so then we can get the numbering going, so we know where we're on. Okay, so question number 1: is this person a '90s wrestler?
Yes.
Okay, so 90s wrestler. Okay, question number 2. Did this person win a world title?
World title meaning like WWE, WCW? No.
So WWE title or the World Heavyweight Champion?
No.
No, okay. Did this person win an ECW title?
No.
Okay. Is this 90s wrestler currently wrestling today?
No.
Is this wrestler part of the layoffs?
Part of the
ones that just the 20 to 25 that just
if they weren't wrestling today, they wouldn't be part of the layoffs as well, so no.
Well, they would have been part of that because they weren't wrestling today because they got fired yesterday. But is this person part of a tag team?
No.
Okay. That's a solo.
That's question number 5 you did, right?
That was on 6. I'm on 6 now. Is this person the highest championship that they won? Either the United States or the IC belt?
Yes.
Okay. Is it the IC belt?
Yes.
Okay, so this guy's a mid-tier. Okay, was this guy part of the Attitude Era?
Yes.
Okay. Was this guy part of a faction?
No.
Okay. So, and he's not wrestling today. So it's a 90s wrestler, part of the Attitude Era. Is this person had a gimmick? So, like I'm saying, gimmick is kind of like a like how they had back in the day, where he's like a repo man, whatever like that. They had a little bit of these people in the 90s.
His character was kinda of a gimmick early on in his career.
Okay. That was question 9.
You remember you do have your lifelines.
Yeah. I'm going to use one lifeline.
Okay. He won the television title in WCW.
Oh, so he's a WCW guy.
When he wrestled in WCW,
yeah,
he won the television title. Okay, so he won that mid-tier, and then he won the IC. So
yeah, so it wasn't who I thought it was.
Which would be hard too, because you don't know too many television champions.
I know.
So
I know.
The television champ, was that the IC title in WCW?
Basically, yeah. It was like the United States and IC belt. Okay, so
yeah, because they're the United States. I would think it's like a third tier, but
so this guy was a WCW dude. Now I'm trying to think, because so did this guy go on to WWF after they bought WCW?
No.
No. So he stayed a WCW guy. Okay.
He wrestled when they bought it in the 2002. He was not part of the WCW roster.
Yeah. So he. Oh, okay. So he was already gone before then.
Mm-hmm.
So then they brought him back. Okay. So he can't be that guy. Okay. Let's see. He didn't win a world title. He's won the TV title. Okay. Does he have a finisher move that's a submission?
His finisher move was not.
Was not a submission?
Mm-mm.
So now we're on question 11. Huh. No, because he won the world title. When this guy was in WCW, did he join the NWO?
No, he was out of WCW
By that time. Oh, okay. And he wasn't on WWE then either. I'll use my second hint.
Okay, this guy had a valet. In case people don't know who valet is, it would be like a manager who at the time like really didn't wrestle, but they kind of like the mouth of the South Jimmy Hart and things like that. But they may have wrestled a little bit, but it was kind of valet, somebody to represent, and kind of like Lana with a Rusev and things like that. So,
okay. Did his valet end up wrestling in the WWF?
Yes.
Okay, I think I know who this person is then. I'm going to try to see.
What number are you on?
I'm on 13.
13?
Is this person, when he came to the WWF, he had a boxing type attire? So he had like boxing shorts and whatnot.
Let me check. Not in the WWF.
Because I thought it was. So who I thought it was, then that's not who it is. Then. Because they're part of the Attitude Era, but I thought it was... So, Alright, so I'm on 13 still. Well, no, that would be 14 because I just asked that one question. So we're on 14. Did this wrestler get released in WWF and then after the Attitude Era? So he no longer continued on.
I'm not sure if he released or quit, but he didn't wrestle after that.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's released or quit, one of those two. But after the Attitude Era, he did not wrestle for the WWE.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on 15. Is this person in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. I'm still leaning towards this guy, even though he said he didn't have really boxing attire coming out, which I think he did.
Not in the WWF.
Yeah, no, that's what you were saying, but could have sworn he had it in the other one. Let's see. I want 15. Did this person is this person signed to a Legends contract?
No.
Okay, this is we're on 16 now.
You got one more save.
I'm gonna use it towards the end. Is this person was this person married to his valet?
Yes.
Okay, I still think I think I know who it is. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question now. Is this person no longer married to the valet?
Yes.
Okay. That's 17. So we're on 18 now. Okay. So I'm going to ask this question now. Is this valet married to a wrestler that recently retired?
Yes.
Okay. I know exactly who this is now.
Do you want to, if you know exactly who it is, do you want to use your last
lifeline? I'm going to use my last lifeline to give me a hint on it.
Later on in his life, he became a Christian.
Okay. I'm going to use the 19 to try to guess on it. You may not know.
If you guess on 19, that's it. You don't get to your 20.
No, I get the 20 question where then I have to guess.
No, but if you guess on 19, it's done.
No, I'm not going to guess. But I'm going to ask this question: did he become a motivational speaker?
Yes.
Okay, I know exactly who this is. All right, so we're on question 20. I'm going to go out and do it on a limb. If I'm wrong, then this guy has a similar career as it. But this is when he was in WCW, he was known as Johnny B. Bad. And WWF, he was known as Mark Marrow.
No.
It's not Mark Marrow?
No, it is.
I was going to say.
Well, the reason why for boxing attire, when I looked it up, it said that Johnny B. Bad was more boxing attire. When he was WWE, he was Wild Man Mark Marrow, so he toned down a lot of boxing with more wild. But remember, his gimmick as Johnny B. Bad was supposed to be...
Because he had a baseball bat and everything like that.
But he was supposed to be like that singer...
Freddie Mercury?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to be like Freddie Mercury and things like... I
didn't know that.
I changed up from the one I originally wanted, but I thought this one would be an interesting one. But I still don't know how you would have got that from all those questions without looking at my notes.
With whatchamacallit, when he came in as Mark Marrow, he had the boxing shorts on and he came in with the boxing.
But I think they didn't have him as like a boxing.
Yeah,
he toned down a lot of that boxing.
He was more like a fighter, is basically what they had him as. But that was a good one there because I thought he was.
Well, after you looked at my notes, you were able to figure it out.
I didn't know he won the television title.
Either did I when I looked him up.
So when I was thinking about him there, I was like, yeah, he went to WWF. But
what swung besides the fact that he married his valet? When I told you he had a valet, then it kind of...
When you told me he had a valet, I was trying to think of everybody in WCW that had a valet that went to WWF but wasn't there around the time of the signing. And I also had to think of who didn't win champion because I was leaning towards Jericho. But then I was like, no, Jericho won the world title. Mm-hmm. He said that he never won the world title. Then I was leaning towards like Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero won the world title. Then I was thinking of maybe Dean Malenko. But when you said his finisher move was not a
you remember what his finisher move was?
Wasn't it the TKO?
The right? TKO, yeah. See, how do you remember? I don't remember his finisher being the TKO.
When you said it wasn't
somehow you remember.
When you said it wasn't a submission, then I said, okay, it couldn't be Dean Malenko.
I had to look him up too.
I couldn't think if Perry Saturn had a signature like a finisher move as a.
The Rings of Saturn was his submission.
So
move.
That was submit. Okay, see,
I was sitting there when I was looking him up because I was going to give you Reno Riggins, but when I was looking him up, I was like, how. Like, oh, yeah, this will be a fun one. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I don't remember the TKO thing. How did you even know he had the TKO?
Because they made him like a fighter type thing. So,
but still, like, you wouldn't think that he'd put him up there and do like a little TKO.
And then when you were saying of he had a valet, so then I was like, okay, well, I know Mark Marrow in WWF had Sable, but I was like, WCW, I don't think he had a valet then. And then I was saying then when I was going for more of thinking it was Mark Marrow, that's why I was saying, oh, did she end up wrestling? Because Sable became a singles wrestler. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, so it leans still towards Mark Marrow, even though I was like, maybe it's not him because of other clues that I was asking for. And then when they were saying about, oh, is he no longer married to her? Then I was like, okay, well, he's not married to Sable anymore. So then when they said it's a current wrestler that retired recently, which Brock Lesnar retired, then I was like, okay, it has to be Mark Marrow then. And then when they did the final clue.
It is pretty crazy though to see that Sable's been married to Brock Lesnar this long, considering the fact that relationships that Sable's been in, and like her life and things like that. It's been pretty crazy. I mean, that's good for them,
and it's also crazy that Brock Lesnar had all these accusations against him, and it's all been clear that it was all pretty much false, and that lady made it all up. That you see that. The hit piece against him never fruition. They were trying to ruin his marriage and everything like that, and it never stood on there. And same with like Vince McMahon. They're saying that lady, that Janelle chick or whatever, lied, and the stuff really never happened. So maybe Vince McMahon can come back on there because what we forgot to say at the beginning is like we finished the Hulk Hogan documentary on there, and it would have been more episodes, but he died. And one of those allegations on there was, well, what Hogan did in his personal life. Then they were like, oh, well, we got to erase them all from WWF, like he never existed and stuff like that. And I'm like, how could you do it to a guy and erase it all from his life there when your literal boss did it on public TV and said what he said up on there, and nothing happened to him.
But you know what? I think it's also dumb too, because it's like, well, did Hulk Hogan apologize? He said it was during a time, when like he was at the lowest, it was low. It was a personal recording that like wasn't real. So it's like, to me, it's like, yeah, he said that, and then you're going to get up in arms about everything and be like, I can never forgive this guy. I'm like, okay, well, if we looked at your life, I'm sure you've said something.
Yep.
Maybe not as bad, but you've said something that somebody could still use that and say, well, what about, like, that's where I think is the dumb part. Because they're like, we're going to release Hulk Hogan, erase him from everything because he said this one word.
Yeah.
And nobody liked it during a time when he was probably drunk or something and was recording on a personal thing that was just between, like, whoever recorded, basically probably to blackmail him.
Yep.
But still, it's like, okay, so you apologize. You can't be like, hey, you know what, dude, I totally understand. You apologize. You're forgiven. No, it's like, hold grudge. Hulk Hogan's this, Hulk Hogan's that.
And that's how those people are,
and it's like,
even today. It's like, you did it in the past, but all they fixate is what you did up in the past.
But you think, though, like, going back to what we said, though, you may have, everybody's done something, that whether or not it's good, bad, whatever. But if we fixated on that thing for you that you did in your past for that person who's accusing the other person, like, well, you will be in that exact same thing of like, oh man, why would they do something like that to me? Things like that. Like, it's hypocritical to say, oh, we should cancel this person. I'm sure Triple H did something that was just as bad too.
I mean, he did. I mean, during the whole time up there, we were picking the women out in the audience and going like
things like this.
Show it all there, and how he screwed over China.
He's a womanizer. Why not get rid of him? Like,
exactly.
Like things like that, but because he's,
and even with Shawn Michaels,
CFO
Shawn Michaels
or whatever,
did a whole bunch of crap there that that if you were to look at his past and judge him based off his past, that he'd be disqualified for it too. He should get then everything.
But they don't look at it like that. But they look at it like Hulk Hogan.
Same with like Chris Benoit. Yeah, it's horrible for what he did on there, but do you want to erase the histories on it? Because I mean, Kurt Angle even said it. Like, Kurt Angle said some of his greatest matches was with Chris Benoit, but they wiped it all off of the network and stuff like that, so you can't even do it. So it's like Chris Benoit never existed on there. And same with like Owen Hart. Like, you want to erase everything of Owen?
No.
Like, no. And this stuff should be in there because it was great matches.
And I think it's a good teachable moment too, because I think for two things. One, with like Chris Benoit, you can show that what CTE led to. And hope and push for awareness too, and also too, you can start like, I think you put him in the Hall of Fame, but like you can also have that mention of like, hey, not everybody is perfect. This is what happens because he had CTE, which it's not 100% confirmed, but those are the symptoms. But it's saying like you can show and say, look, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, some people do things that are like really super bad. But his career as a wrestler was good, and this is why he should be in there.
Same with like Jimmy Fly Snuka. Like, they put him in the Hall of Fame, then the allegations came out that he murdered somebody, so then they took him out of the Hall of Fame. Well, Like, yeah, he murdered somebody. You could put him, maybe keep him in the Hall of Fame, but put an asterisk by it.
Yeah.
And say the asterisk is there is because, his actions that he did before we put him in the Hall of Fame,
And see, I always go back with those things too, because I even think about it with baseball, with like Barry Bonds and Pete Rose and stuff like that. Like, so these guys made you money at that time, and now you're going to erase them, or are you going to give them back that money that they made you? Mm-hmm. No, you're not going to, because it's, it was at that time, your life didn't. So then, you know what? He made all his popularity, his money, he made money for you. Mm-hmm. You should then, honor that, then I think that's a perfect thing to say. Like, yeah, like, we honor him as a wrestler, as a person. He made some mistakes, and we don't necessarily, accept that.
The wrestlers in the Hall of Fame.
The wrestlers in the Hall of Fame. The person is a different we could care less about. Yeah. Like, something like that.
Kind of like how Hogan said. He said, Hogan the wrestler has all these accomplishments, but Terry Bollea, isn't a good person. Bollea had to go and fight his demons and stuff like that. And that's where
I think they need to start separating things like that, to put in some of these wrestlers who had great careers, but their personal life. And why is their personal life like that? A lot of it is because of wrestling. So it's like, maybe you need to be able to say, you got to separate the wrestler from the person, to be able to say, this person as a wrestler was great.
Yes, this is their career accolades, but they're not trying to put them in as a role model. No, they're just trying to say that this is the contribution you did to the company. We appreciate all the contribution on it, but your personal life sucks.
Yep.
That's okay up on there. But when they hold all these grudges and do all that stuff, like look at Sid Vicious. They held a grudge for Sid Vicious for all this time, and then now they put him in the Hall of Fame, and he's just like a footnote, basically. They had no merch for him. They didn't have anything, and then they give it to Rodman. They get a bunch of merch on Rodman, and Rodman is a bad person, in his personal life and stuff like that. But they're glorifying him like he's part of the NWO and like he's a good person. But Sid Vicious, who was the staple of the big guys back in the 80s and 90s, and made people hate him, love him, indifferent up on there. He should have been in the Hall of Fame way longer there, because I would have rather heard stories from him than to hear stories from Rodman.
He would have told you that you may be half the man, but he has half the brain. So
it's I feel that WWE needs to do more of put the wrestler in over the thing.
They need to put it over the personal life, because you have a lot of wrestlers who could tell great stories of things, of accomplishments, things that they did for the company that. You even think, I think about, even as you talk about Chris Benoit, during a time when it was you're promoting John Cena, you're promoting Edge, you had these guys who, I believe it was Eddie Guerrero won the one night and then Chris Benoit won the other, but you got these guys who were considered mid-card that actually went and became popular and won titles that wasn't a John Cena. So it was you had an era of a good 10 years that was kind of wasn't good wrestling, but these guys were good wrestlers and good gimmick guys and things like that, who could actually do a lot of good things outside of just talking on the mic 5 moves and then and you're good to go.
Chris Benoit, he did wrestle a lot of big name wrestlers and had good matches with
good matches, yeah.
Same with Eddie Guerrero
and NWO.
Yeah. Same with Eddie Guerrero and all that. And it's he had a problem with CTE, and then he did that tragedy there, and then they didn't want to do the 10-ring salute, but then they ended up doing it there, and then they find out what happened.
And you think Eddie Guerrero had a lot of drug abuse, but you put him in the Hall of Fame, you could have said, oh, well, take him out because he's a drug user. But a lot of wrestlers have drug abuse and things like that. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers do a lot of these things where, so.
Yeah, but that's all that we have for this week for Tackles and Takedowns. That was a good game of the Wrestling 20 Questions.
I think you saw my notes.
If you like more of those, like and subscribe so we could do more of these channels, because I think that this is a fun game for this iteration of 20 Questions. Backlash is I think this Saturday on there. We're not picking who's gonna win and do all that stuff because it's just a minor pay per view. We'll try to do the one in the next time because it was like barely even WrestleMania and they barely even had time to do these matches.
Mm-hmm.
So and then plus now with the firing on the landscape has changed.
Yep.
So we'll do it on the next time on it. But like always. I'm Dark Knight 316. This is Robert Ruler Gaming, and we'll see you on the next episode.
God bless you guys. Take it easy.
Hold up.
The Wall Man, Mark.